Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to another episode of The Most Epic Dream, the series where I tell you the story of the incredibly complex lucid dreams that I do happen to have on occasion. Today's is called The Time Isn't Right, which is inspired by a song that I'll be playing in the musical break. It's one that you may have seen on this channel before, quite an old school one from Dano Songs. And I'm going to say it's fairly heavily inspired by the book All You Need Is Kill and the movie version The Edge of Tomorrow, maybe with a touch of Maximum Overdrive in there. But this is a real dream, something that really happened to me, at least from my experiential point of view, and I'm just going to be telling you how it happened. Gameplay you're going to get to see today is Overwatch. We have Diva, Zenyatta, and then maybe even a little bit of Call of Duty later on. So the dream starts off fairly normally. I wake up from a nap on my desk in high school. I am back in high school. I'm an adult now, but I'm dreaming I'm kind of back in my old high school. I'm asleep in my math class with my professor, Mr. Staten, not my professor, teacher, Mr. Staten, telling me what to do, something about trigonometry this and math that, and he's lecturing me about falling asleep in class and how one of these days math is going to save my life, how algebra will save the day, and I'm definitely going to need to find X and know where that is, and I can't pay attention to all this nonsense. I'm trying to wake up and get that crick out of your neck that you always get when you sleep face down in your desk. And my high school was pretty typical for a big US city, at least in this situation. I actually went to a small town high school, but I think I'm dreaming about some other schools that I've visited. Big City USA school, multi-story campus, thousands of students, big fields, lots of faculty, staff, security guards, equipment everywhere. Pretty big group, think like DFW, New York, LA high schools. Lots and lots of people. And I'm back in high school again, and once again, I am the nerd. I am not the cool guy in high school. I am not the fit guy. I am not the athlete. I am not the charmer, the superstar. I am not even in the edgy emo kids that play music. I am just a big old nerd. So yay, back to normal, right? And during the rest of my normal, boring lecture about algebra, a big bad storm starts to roll in. I can see it billowing out of the left-hand window. I can just see the clouds roll in really fast, kind of like they do in a scary movie when they roll the footage fast forward. Some of you may have seen storms like this before. You always do a double take and look at it, and you think to yourself, is this going to be a normal storm, or are we about to lose power and get hit by a dozen tornadoes? At least that's how I feel. But the storm starts rolling in really, really fast, just even faster than those crazy movie storms, and it's not normal. The colors are wrong, the lightning patterns are erratic, the rain isn't as heavy as it should be, but then it seems too heavy for the storm, and there's not a lot of wind, and all of a sudden air raid sirens start going off. They start blaring, but then briefly you hear them go and go down very, very quickly. And you think that people would panic when the air raid sirens go off, but my God, you should see them panic when the air raid sirens go down, and then all of a sudden I hear a loud crash, and the building shakes just a little bit, a nice big wobble, and I realize that something is not right here. Something is going very, very wrong. I'm sitting in the desk panicking. Everybody's dead silent, no screaming, no running around, but inside we're all just kind of looking to each other for leadership, wondering who's going to be the person to tell everybody what to do. I mean, we've all done those active shooter on campus drills. We all know the teacher's supposed to take over and tell you what to do, but we're all just kind of confused. And then we hear all sorts of crazy noises coming from inside the building, down the hall a little bit, back to my right, just way on down there, just rumbling and booming and grinding and chaos. And you know what? Once people started screaming, I just decided, along with everybody else, it's time to leave. Let's get up and GTFO. All of the students jump up. The teacher starts saying something about order, but to hell with that. We're going to run out of this building as fast as we can. We're going for safety. We run straight outside, straight into the parking lot to get in our cars and leave, high school students, But outside in the parking lot, it is a complete shit show. The storm has increased. It's significantly worse now. The rain is bad. Lightning everywhere. Can't hear as well as you should. And what's kind of weird is that some of our cars have managed to turn themselves on. They're just sitting there with the headlights on, not doing much. Like, did the lightning jumpstart my car? Did the battery fry? Did the light short? What's going on here? Something's definitely not quite right. And all of a sudden, some of the cars start moving and backing themselves out and wobbling around and bumping into some of the other cars that are sitting still. And you're thinking this is a little crazy. Think kind of like Maximum Overdrive, based on the old Stephen King book, that old crazy movie with Emilio Estevez with the AC/DC soundtrack about the evil cars that come alive and run people over. That's basically what we're dealing with here. And I immediately see cars driving themselves that aren't Teslas and decide, you know what, this just isn't for me. I don't need this in my life. This is too scary. I turn around to go back inside. Somebody else has already beat me to it. But before anybody can turn around and go back inside, a huge industrial lawnmower just plows past the doors, runs over some poor bastard that's trying to come out and some other guy that's trying to go in, and blocks re-entry to the school. One of the really big ones, you know, like the 20-foot wide ones. Poor people get all kind of munched up, and one of them just gets hit by the tires, and it was not good. We're definitely not going back in. We're going to run back to the parking lot because there's literally nowhere else to go. Some of the cars are just plain off. Some of them seem normal. Some of them seem alive. I can't tell the difference. Complete carnage ensues. People are getting run over. They're getting smushed. They're getting bumped. They're getting crushed. You would think that it's just the cars, but there's big lawnmowers. There are those little golf carts, those little ATV things people use to ride around big campus. Even little bitty drones burning around and just hitting people in the face. Is just chaos, blood and guts everywhere, and in all the chaos, I managed to break free of the group and run as far and as fast as I possibly can, all the way to the back campus, and I'm trying to run across the football field. My goal is, okay, evil storm, lightning, killer technology, let's go to the woods. Let's GTFO, let's go to the very edge of the building, let's go to a nice little wooded area out there by the creek that isn't super developed where cars and stuff can't get to very easily. I'm running across the football field just as fast as I possibly can, and the last thing I hear is a loud crack and a bright flash, and that's pretty much it. That's just all I hear, just a crack, and I immediately wake up at my desk again, except instead of waking up nice and calmly, I jump up just really fast, just kind of panic, just making sure that everything's okay, and I feel pain in my body, like a white, hot, tingling heat buzzing all over me, and everybody stares at me like I'm an idiot or a barbarian, and it makes sense because I just jumped up and screamed in math class, like, what's going on here? And I just kind of stare at everybody, and they stare at me, and the teacher looks at me and, you know, just tells me to sit down and shake it off, and I do sit down, and I try to shake it off, but I don't feel right, and I'm kind of going over this bad dream in my head about killer cars and storms, and the guy next to me decides to lean over and ask me if I'm doing okay and what goes wrong, and I start explaining that I had a bad dream, and, you know, the class is boring, and somebody jumping up and yelling is kind of shocking, so they're all asking questions like, oh, what was the dream about, what happened, yada yada. I'm talking about the storm rolling in and the vehicles coming alive, and all of a sudden, this big storm starts rolling in faster than it should, scarier than it should, weird colors, and then there's air raid sirens. And I'm sitting there saying, okay, now in my dream, the air raid sirens turned off, and about a second or two later, air raid sirens turn off. At this point, I panic and I tell everybody, we're going to die. We're all going to die. If you go outside, you're going to die. And I probably look absolutely crazy. I'm panicked. I'm freaking out here. I don't even know what's going on. We hear the loud crashing again, the crazy noise on the other side of the building, and I'm telling them not to go outside. Most of them don't listen to me and run straight out to the parking lot. I know that's a bad idea, so I'm actually deciding to go toward the noise this time, toward the other end of the building, because last time that just didn't work out so well, right? Turns out a big old tractor has managed to crash right straight into the front of the building. What in the hell is a tractor doing here in the middle of the city? I don't know, but it's a big one, and it's just smashed right in front of the building, and it's trying to drive through the doors, and the wreckage and the grinding and stuff is just it trying to move around and actually get inside, and I'm hearing some other people screaming in random rooms from different stuff. And you know what? I don't want to go that way. So we're gonna take a different exit. We're gonna book it way further away, and I'm gonna get outside. As soon as I step outside into the rain, I'm taking a few steps, and the car hits me. Well, guess that did not go according to plan. Back to the desk again. I wake up at the desk, panic again, jump up, and pretty much rinse and repeat. The storm starts rolling in. I start hearing the air raid sirens, but this time, this is the second time I've played this game, right? I think I know what's going on. I feel like I'm doing this in expert mode. I tell everybody that they need to follow me outside right now, or everybody's gonna die. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. The teacher gets pissy and asks, you can't threaten people like that. I'm gonna tell the principal. I'll tell him to sit his old ass down and shut up. I'm getting out of here. I don't want to die today. If he wants to die, he can stay there, but I'm gonna get the hell out of here. Unfortunately, most of the students ignore me, as most of you should be ignoring a crazy person in that situation, but some of them are kind of scared because I've managed to make a few short predictions in a row, and they decide to follow me outside. I managed to get to the parking lot this time, but before the cars are quite coming online, they don't have time to back out and run everybody over. We find a car that has, for some reason, not come to life and is not killing people. The logic on this one doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me now. It just seems like some of them came to life and some of them did not. But we managed to get in a regular car, piled in with the 3 or 4 people that were able to follow me, and we're driving off. We're dodging, we're weaving, we're bobbing, we're getting the hell out of here, we're running red lights, and got hit by an 18-wheeler. Yep, all I heard was the honk honk, and I looked over to see a poor bastard, just a regular human being driving, just plowed into us because he was trying to get away from the chaos too. And it looks like we are back to the desk again, waking up yet again. I've died 3 times, not feeling too good. I feel the pain of death every single time, not the actual blinking out of existence, just the pain part. I wake up, I'm super panicked, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, okay, maybe, you know, 3rd time's a charm. Maybe I'm losing my mind. So now I'm waking up and I'm deciding to get a move on before the storm hits, before the crazy machines come to life and everything goes tits up. And I'm feeling more and more expert, except I never make it very far. I always end up dying over and over and over again. I get further every day, I do something different, I get better. Sometimes I make the same mistake twice, the memory isn't good. I don't know how much time I spent there not sleeping, just waking up over and over and over again, resetting over and over and over again. I managed to learn more about the students with me too. I managed to learn who will and won't believe me, who will and won't help, little facts about people, who's useful in a survival situation, who panics, who shuts down, and eventually I'm able to figure out most of the class and some of the other people in the buildings, but despite the fact that I know them better, I can manipulate them, I know their skills and weaknesses, I know what's coming, I know what machines are gonna come alive and not, and I'll last 45 minutes this day and 2 hours the next day. At the end of the day, I'm always dying, never making it any further. Some very noticeable deaths are helicopter blades, an 18-wheeler filled with some sort of weird chemical that burned my throat. I took a little drone to the face, it chopped me up pretty bad. I actually got shot by a scared person, just some crazy bastard with a gun panicked and shot me. And my most embarrassing death is I slipped in a puddle, and I just remember the slipping and the world spinning, and I remember bonking my head slightly, like I remember my head touching the ground, and then I woke up. I guess I hit my head and died. But I'm getting better, I'm getting further, nearing the end of this crazy cycle. I actually managed to get pretty far outside of the big city, which has been the whole goal the whole time, with crazy killer death machines going on. I never really had any intention to stay at that school and just get chopped to bits with everybody else. I just wanted to GTFO way to the woods, way the hell out of here, just away from this crazy storm and somewhere safe. And today, I had 2 people make it with me, 2, let's say, less than expected people. I had a football hero, one of the big jock type guys, not a bad person, just, you know, books wasn't really his thing. Good nature though, and a bookish girl. That kind of girl that always raises her hand to answer the questions. The kind of girl that always gets good grades, but not through natural intelligence, rather through lots of work. The kind that just takes notes way too damn slow. Somebody that you would think would be absolutely worthless in a situation than this, but God bless her, she was a trooper. She managed to go all the way through. The 3 of us managed to get in a vehicle, we managed to dodge the helicopters, chemical trucks, drones, we managed to sneak out, just avoid everything, and we ended up piling up into a new construction near the outskirts of the city, just a building that was pretty empty. We decided to go in there and take cover because there's no electricity, no technology, nothing really going on, should be totally safe, and everything will be fine, right? I remember us just sitting there in the room covered in rain and just kind of laughing a little bit. I'm laughing a lot more because I feel safe for the first time in forever. And during our laughing, I hear a little roar and a motor boot up and go. And that's about that time I looked to my left and noticed a gigantic wrecking ball just swinging straight into my little room. I don't even remember the thing hitting me. I remember it hitting the wall and the crumbling and the dust flying everywhere. And, well, I guess it's back to the desk again. I managed to make it all the way out of the city, only get it crushed by a wrecking ball. So we've been dying way too many times and resetting way too many times. It's clearly time to rethink my strategy. Maybe escape isn't working. Maybe I shouldn't be trying to escape. Maybe I need to learn something about my enemy. Maybe a little bit of observation can help. So this time, I stand by the window and I start to observe what's going on outside. I watch the storms roll in. I watch the machines coming alive one at a time. I'm taking notes of which ones, what type, what they're doing. Every single time I wake up, the teacher gets pissy about me staring out the window and not answering people. The classmates think I've had a mental breakdown because I'm just watching a storm and telling them to mind their own business, and I'm definitely going to get expelled for such an attitude, but it just happens, and every single time, I don't even try to fight it. I just go out there and die. Get hit by a car, actually usually the faster way to go, and not the drones or any of the really painful things, but die a couple more times, and I learn, and I learn, and I learn, and it occurs to me, I never actually explored my building to see what's going on in my building. I never looked around to see if there are any supplies, anything useful, maybe people from classes that are further away that can change my scenario a little bit. I'm kind of viewing it like a puzzle to solve, kind of like a resetting puzzle every day, and there's a perfect set of solutions that I can go through to get out of here. Hell, maybe I can even hide in the building, right? After going up a level or two, I come across a security guard who is absolutely soaking wet. Big, fat, white dude. He's balding, but he's been shaving his head, but not too regularly, so it's kind of growing out around the balding spot. Not what you would call a typically strong man, but he's kind of got that bear strength, right? He's got that muscle underneath the fat, kind of like a big beefcake kind of dude. We lock eyes, and something is immediately clearly wrong with this guy. His eyes are very light-colored, very intense, very angry expression on his face. And he looks at me and he just strays me, says, "You shouldn't be here," says, "The time isn't right for you." And this is where we're going to cut to our musical break.
Lifted by my wings, crouched on the sill, doing acrobatics, moving from the matter in the air. You wouldn't believe what I saw. A lady in a turban looking at her future, telling devices, and she said, "Man, you shouldn't be here. The time isn't right for you. You should have known before coming around. Man, you shouldn't be here. The time isn't right for you. You should have known before coming around." That was on my way to an alpha state. I could see the levels rising, climbing up the ladder to the spheres. What I saw, a devil in a magic robe telling me a supernatural prediction, and he said, "Man, you shouldn't be here. The time isn't right for you. You should have known before coming around. Man, you shouldn't be here. The time isn't right for you. You should have known before coming around. I don't wanna see your face around here. The time isn't right for you. I don't wanna see your face around here. The time isn't right for you." I said the time isn't right. Before I chanted for a chance, before I counted 4, 3, 2, 1, and I went into a dance and fell right there. You wouldn't believe what I saw. A midget man in a wheelchair sell a rose to a band that didn't understand when he said, "Man, you shouldn't be here. The time isn't right for you. You should have known before coming around. Man, you shouldn't be here. The time isn't right for you. You should have known before coming around. I don't wanna see your face around here. The time isn't right for you. I don't wanna see your face around here. The time isn't right for you. I don't wanna see your face around here. The time isn't right for you. I don't wanna see your face around here. The time isn't right for you. I said the time isn't right.
I barely have time to process whatever even the hell he's talking about, telling me the time isn't right, before he draws his gun and starts firing at me. And I realize I'm being fired upon by the school security officer, one of those guys that you have in a lot of public schools now. Why in the balls is he shooting at me? I don't even know. I'm fortunate enough to duck out of the way, but I do manage to take a shot to the shoulder area. It's kind of like a back shoulder area. It didn't hit me quite as hard as I thought, but it stung afterward, and I just remember I couldn't breathe very well. It felt like I was choking, kind of like my chest was squeezing. The best I figured, it was the muscle and lungs being sore and collapsing, and at least I wasn't coughing up blood, right? Maybe it was just some broken bone or clavicle. I don't even know. I don't have time for this. I can hear him taking footsteps and coming for me and popping off a shot every now and then, but I ducked into a classroom for some reason, a one-way classroom several stories up with no way out, and the only way for me to get anywhere is to run into the hallway and around the corner, and I'm thinking, like, I'm not an action hero. I can't do this. I can't dodge bullets, can I? No, they do it in movies all the time. I go to the gun range. It's hard enough to shoot a target that's standing still. I can totally do this. So I jump out in the hallway super fast, sprint with my busted up ass body, and I'm running, and I'm trying to get around the corner. I can hear him popping off a few shots, and then all of a sudden, I wake up at my desk again. My best bet is I probably got capped in the head and didn't even feel it. Just brains everywhere, shot in the heart. I don't even know exactly what happened, but wake up at the desk. Clearly, I have been shot by the security guard. At this point, I have to ask myself, what in the fudge-sickles is happening? It's absolute pandemonium. We've got death machines going on. I've been trying to survive against them, and now why do people want me dead? This doesn't make any sense, but I decide to immediately rush back to where I met the guard again. This time I catch him just as he's coming down from the outside roof access. And as soon as I see him, he doesn't say anything to me. I don't know what happened with the mood. I don't know why he didn't address me, but he pulled his gun again and started shooting at me. This time, thankfully, I was expecting the gun to be drawn, right? So I just decided to GTFO super fast, dodging shots, and we're kind of playing gun tag in the hallways, right? He's trying to pop me. I'm ducking back and forth between cover, running in between classrooms and out windows, and just juke and jive and juke and jive and juke and jive. Unfortunately, he managed to pin me down in a classroom. Ran out of ammo, thank God, but the big man ran in and he just outclasses me in size and martial expertise and everything. I tried my best to fight, but I probably fought like a true wiener. He just picked me up and slapped me around and beat me, and he smashed me into a window, which thankfully I didn't fall out, but then he grabbed my head, pulled my hair back, and slammed my neck straight into the broken glass. And I just remember having glass in my throat and everything hurting, breathing hurting, swallowing hurting, moving hurting, everything getting blurry, and poof, well, looks like I woke up at my desk again. I think pretty sure he slit my throat on the glass and killed me again, and I don't know what happened in my brain. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but I decided right away that this person was my enemy and that he needed to die. I can't defeat all the machines in the world, I can't escape the cars, but you know what? I can kill this bastard, and I have all the time in the world, right? I'm immortal. Every time I die, I just keep on coming back. So every new cycle, I'm trying to kill this guard, and every single time, he was just that much better than me, just inches ahead of me, shooting, melee combat, stealing his gun, getting it stolen back, taking out the lights to fight in the dark, fighting in the rain, fighting in, I got like some lubricants from the bathroom. I just thought I'd get clever and do some wrestling, right? Try to hit him with a fire extinguisher, try to run him over with a car, setting the building on fire. Literally nothing worked. Actually, the setting the whole building on fire thing quite literally blew up in my face and set me on fire, and I remember my skin being all burnt and charred and feeling terrible. And that particular day, I just decided to quit. You know what? Fuck it. I'm done. I'm tired of this. I just threw myself out of the 5th story window and went splat on the ground and restarted. I was tired of that burny feeling on my skin. But I was getting better. It was very disappointing to die all the time, but I was getting better. Every cycle, I was learning to fight better, move faster, handle the gun better, learning the school better, learning the jumps and dodges I could make, learning how to trick the guy. And the death machines are still going on outside. There's all sorts of chaotic cars and helicopters and drones and tractors and crazy stuff going on out there. Thankfully, they don't bust into the building as much, but they did on occasion, and I got pretty good at timing them. I got pretty good at learning what's going on. They actually weren't that sophisticated or complicated. There was just a big mass of them, very difficult to deal with, and they were very simple in comparison to trying to kill this big old security guard who for no reason just wanted me dead. But slowly but surely, the tides were turning to my favor. I was getting better and better. I was lasting longer and longer. I was getting closer and closer to killing this guy. and he never really said much to me. I never said much to him. I guess I never gave him the time. But one day, amidst our daily fight, I got a little squirrely and I just decided to ask him what was the deal with the death machines outside. I think we were both taking cover from something. And the fat guard very uncharacteristically explained that those were his people and that the machines were just the form that they had to take here to get by. I didn't understand him. I asked him what in the hell he was talking about. He said they were coming to set things right. And to me, personally, this sounded like Nazi talk. People coming in from a different world and taking this form, setting things right by trying to kill everybody, kind of pissed me off, to be honest with you. So I tried to kill him again, and once again, I failed. He choked me out, suffocated me, broke my neck. And but I got more curious, and every day I fought him. I kept peppering him with questions. I didn't get a whole lot of answers, but I did get some new ones every day. Every day you fight, you talk, you die, live, die, rinse, repeat, live, die, live again. Big mess. Kind of starting to go crazy at this point. But the basic gist of the story that I was able to squeeze out of this guy amidst our combat was that they were aliens, or more accurately, non-dimensional entities. Some entities that reside in a different dimension, and they're taking over our machines so that they have a proper form to inhabit in this dimension to effect change. And the very few people they took were chosen to be clean vessels, and they were kind of like drivers behind the machines. So the security guard was a chosen, certified clean vessel, and it was a non-dimensional entity operating his body. Unfortunately, only the higher class of their warriors got to inhabit human bodies because they were incredibly complex, difficult to control, higher potential, etc., etc. So the security guard was actually more like a commander, like an absolute badass in their army. And that's when it finally clicked to me. It finally made sense. I was supposed to be a vessel. I even asked this question, and the man told me that I should not be conscious, that the time wasn't right for me, that I shouldn't be here, that this wasn't supposed to be happening, that something has gone tits up on their end, and I'm screwing up their master plan, and that he knew I had been traveling back and forth in time. That's why he was managing to beat me ever so narrowly day after day and day, is because we were both time traveling again and again and again in a cyclical loop. It was two time travelers battling each other. That's why we were both so incredibly badass, and that's why the combat only kept getting more and more ridiculous. And on my end, I realized how powerful my enemy was, and the combat only escalated. Rinse and repeat 10, 15, 20 more cycles. On a particularly bad day, I ended up fighting him tooth and nail, fists and hammers in the football field. Well, he had a hammer, I had the gun, didn't have any ammo, and I was using the butt of the gun like a hammer. It was a melee fight. It was just a big mess, and I'd completely forgotten about the lightning until it struck me again. Him too, both of us, right there. Pow! Right in the middle of the field. Wake up at the desk again. Rinse and repeat. Live, die, and live again. Once again, we're back to the spawn point, starting over, but this time something is different. Something feels different. I don't have that white, hot, fuzzy feeling in me. My brain's processing things a little differently. Something's not making sense. And then I realized it was later in the class than usual. I woke up in a different part of the lecture. The class had progressed on a little bit. We were covering different problems, and I looked out the window. The storm was about to hit. It was much closer than usual, and I realized I'd actually overslept, and the rain was just starting, and it's like, oh shit, what am I supposed to do? I don't think I'm immortal anymore. If I die today, I'm dead for good. I don't want to be dead for good. Heavens knows I've died enough times, but I don't want to be dead for good because dying sucks. I've done it enough times to know, but I'm not coming back today. And the only idea I had, the only thing that made any sense to me whatsoever, was to make a break for the football field and maybe try to get struck by lightning again, because every single day I tried to escape, I died. Every single day I tried to get help, I died. Every single day I tried to fight, I died. I need more time to solve this puzzle. I didn't have it figured out. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't strong enough, smart enough, fast enough, whatever. But good old Officer McFats here, the security guard, was after me. He was already running down the hall. I could hear the footsteps coming. It was too late. I was about to be screwed, so I just bust out in the hallway as fast as I possibly can. As soon as I open the door, he opens fire. Students start panicking because they think it's actually an active shooter situation. They try to run outside. Machines start coming to life. Absolute, total shit show again. And today he's trying to kill me. and I'm trying to survive. Same as usual, except today instead of fighting back, I'm actually trying to survive, and I'm narrowly managing to do it. It's like he just got a level up on everything I did. It's just kind of like he evolved to the next level of Pokemon, and he's more powerful now. I can't fight back. I can barely survive. I can barely scrape past death. Every time I try to kill him, it's like he knows it's coming and he just gets out of the way and just barely squeaks by. And that's when I realize my time is running out. This man is still time traveling, and every time I almost turn the tables and almost kill him, I probably actually have killed him, but he's traveled back in time one more time, so he knows it's coming, and he is just dodging and getting further and further and further and pushing me further and further and further, and I'm running out of options, and he has infinite lives, infinite redos. If I make one mistake, just one, I'm totally screwed. It's infinity versus one. What do you do? Well, it seems like all that time traveling and training and combat and chaos and knowing what cars come to life and what don't and predicting everything finally paid off, because I did manage to make it back to the football field. Thank heavens. And I'm standing there waiting for the lightning strike, just waiting. He's running at me, exhausted, all the bullets already, just sprinting. All I can do is wait, and I have to stand right there in that spot, and if he gets here, I guess he's going to have to fight me. And just about the time he jumps to tackle me, bam, lightning strikes me again. Both of us, yet again, same lightning. And I hope, all right, maybe I'll get my powers back. Maybe I can do something. But then the dream gets even more chaotic. This is where things really start getting more complex, more difficult to understand. I ended up moving to a weird sort of timeless place. I could see everything in 4 dimensions. If you think about it kind of like the Tesseract from Interstellar, or if you think about your entire existence being stretched thin on a piece of paper and you can see it from above, except it was all stretching and squeezing and moving, and our 3D visuals don't really do it justice, and I could actually observe myself moving backwards and forth and popping in and out of time, kind of like a snake looking at its own tail. And the officer was no longer human. He was now a large, glowing alien, completely formless. I tried to touch him and swipe at him, and my hand just moves through like it's nothing. And he decides to open up and explain to me that all human beings used to live in 4 dimensions. We all used to inhabit a timeless space. We used to understand it all, but that over time, our 2 races slowly diverged. Different evolutionary paths, just like chimpanzees and humans and gorillas and something like that. And we slowly started to lose our perspective on that extra dimension, and they decided to focus more and more on it until they kind of lost their physical form but maintained a mental one. Whereas we lost the ability to see into the future, etc., etc. Unfortunately, this made the human race very short-sighted, very brutal, dumb creatures, and most of all, we were very dangerous to the rest of the universe. We expand quickly, we waste resources, we wage war with each others, and when we do get out there, we'll be waging war with other races, creating chaos, destruction, and potentially even destroying the universe itself. He says he can't see that far ahead. I asked him why not, and he just asked me why I couldn't see a million miles in one direction. It's just not how their perception worked, but they could see far enough ahead to know that we are a dangerous race, and that they decided to come back, and that they were the good guys. They were coming down to help us. They were going to have to take over forcibly because, as per their prediction, there was no way whatsoever we would ever go peaceably. We were too violent, too barbaric, too brutal to ever surrender, and the only way to do it was an absolute show of force, to seize power immediately and shut down all the machinery and just kind of stop us, put us in a dead standstill. And it seems like they'd already had this pretty well planned out. They can see in the future, predict the future, move around in ways that I can barely wrap my head around. As for me, I was simply a mistake. I was a person that has a recessive gene that I shouldn't have, that allowed me to see what I was able to see. It caused me to reject my operator, my evil non-dimensional entity that was supposed to take over my body, yet left me with the majority of his abilities. But I had this kind of crazy idea. Not only was I able to see time, but I could touch it. I could reach into the future, into the past at the same time, and kind of pull them together and poke it and watch it wobble and watch the ripples go out and change things. And I had this crazy idea. What if... So I remember reaching out and grabbing the future and grabbing the past, all of it, and starting to pull them together into a tiny little knot. And the alien, who had no form, was screaming, panicking, flipping out, yelling something about not knowing what I'm doing, about doing damage to the universe, irreparable this and that, you'll make it worse. I remember taking the future and the past and kind of turning them together in a knot like you would tie up a wet towel, and then ripping as hard as I possibly could. And I heard this large, loud, ripping noise, and the alien screamed, and then I woke up in a cold sweat back in my bed here on planet Earth, and everything was fine and dandy, and I just had to tell this story on a YouTube video. And that was the dream, and that's exactly how it ended. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this story. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.